everybody, it's such a busy day today and I've still not got my makeup on yet, but I'm going to prepare a spicy, smooth vegetable soup with some of the veg box ingredients we got yesterday. So here we go. I have here some parsnips. As you can see, this bit needs cutting out, and a neep. In England they call them Swedes, but they're, to all intents and purposes, turnips. In Scotland we call them neeps. These are a yellow variety of turnip. A couple of heritage carrots, and a couple of normal carrots, and a couple of onions. Now these onions were from an organic veg box we had recently, and they've got so much flavour. First of all, I'm going to chop the onions up. These are going to be chopped up quite roughly. Unfortunately, I have no celery left, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I might use part of fennel ball that we have, that I was going to put in tonight's dinner. So we might have the end which has got the fronds on. That should add a bit of extra flavour dimension. I'm just chopping the onion up quite roughly. And I'll do the same with the other. This is a organic onion, it's really pungent. Now at one time I couldn't chop onions at all without sneezing, crying. I tried every trick in the book. I've been on homeopathy for about 8 months now, and I have absolutely no problem with onions anymore. It's a revelation, it's wonderful, because I've always loved onions. It's just that I've never been able to prep them without them causing me problems. Smarting eyes, running eyes, sneezing, runny nose. But now, no more. I seem to be fine. Such are the wonders of Arsenicum album. Arsenicum album is also brilliant if you've got chest infection, pneumonia, flu, COVID, or any other nasty chesty bug. So that's the onion cut. I'm going to set that aside. Before I prep the root veggies, I'm going to chop up a bit of this pepper. Now you see here it's going bad, so I'll just cut that out. Everything's been washed, by the way. It's important to wash your vegetables. I'm going to use about half of this pepper. Again, no need to chop it up finely. This whole thing is going to be blended. The other half of the pepper will be nice in salad lunch boxes this coming week. And again, I've set it aside. Next, it's time to peel and chop the parsnips. They've got a lovely sweet smell. Beautiful. Parsnips are always best though after the first frost. These are slightly mature, but there's nothing wrong with them. I've cut off the bad bit. They'll be absolutely delicious in the soup. I do like parsnip soup, I must admit. Dan's at the gym this morning. It's quite early. He's at the gym, and meanwhile I'm up and about making porridge for breakfast with chia seeds. And this soup, lots to do. What are you doing today? Chop that end off. It's a bit too floppy to actually peel with the peeler. I'm going to cook this soup in the pressure cooker, partly because the vegetables are older and they're usually not as tender, and I find pressure cooking the soup when the vegetables are not as tender, takes a lot less time and produces a wonderfully smooth soup as well. And I'm going to set the parsnips aside in this bowl, and then we'll do the carrots next. These are quite firm actually, even though they're past the best. Again, they'll probably need a bit of extra cooking, so the pressure cooker is perfect. I'm getting rid of any bits that are going green. It's a lovely yellow carrot, almost like amber, do you see? So now I'm chopping these beauties. If the chunks are bigger, cut them again in half. As you can see, they're starting to dry out a little bit, but they'll be perfectly fine. If you want to make it into a vegetable broth, just add some pearl barley or spelt and some chopped up carrot. And indeed I may do with some of it once I've made the lovely smooth vegetable soup base. A lot of this is going to be going in the freezer so that I don't have to make soup if I'm in a hurry, and can just take some out the night before and defrost it, and then Dan can just heat up what he needs for his flask. Again, it goes in the dish, and then we'll start on the neep. This is the neep. This looks to be in pretty good nick. Now I do love neeps. With the other neeps, I think I'm going to cook them up and then mash them and put them in the freezer. So when we next have haggis, neeps and tatties, then we're good to go on the neeps. This smells lovely. I do love neeps. Cut the end off. None of this, by the way, goes to waste. All our veg trimmings go in our composter, which makes the most lovely compost for our garden. Sometimes I'll use the carrot peels for making vegetable crisps in the oven, along with, say, beetroot and potato and parsnip. They're wonderful if you need a crispy, salty snack and haven't got anything in the house. So they're also going in the dish now. And I'm going to also put some potato in. These are a few of our own main crop potatoes which we harvested recently. These have been scrubbed and washed. I'm just going to peel them now and then chop them into cubes. I'll also chop up some garlic from our garden. The cloves are small, and although they're small, they're quite pungent. And I'll also chop up a piece of root ginger. I'm going to chop the ends of this fennel. The main fennel bulb I'm using later for part of our supper, but there's nothing wrong with these bits. I'm going to give them a wash, and then I'll chop them into pieces, and these will do instead of celery, which I don't have. Cut off any bits that are manky. And there we are, and now we can get on to the next stage. I have the pressure cooker on a medium flame. I'm just going to pour in a little olive oil. I'm now adding all the fennel, the pepper, the onion. I'm adding the garlic, the ginger and the chilli and the oregano to the pan. Listen to that sizzle. I'm going to turn it down a little bit, stir everything through and add a bit of salt. I've added about 2 spoons of anise now to give it a North African flavour. And then I will be able to add the rest of the vegetables, all those lovely root veggies, and some stock. I've also added some turmeric and now in with the root veggies. I'm going to mix everything together well. At this point it's a good idea to add a splash of water as well. That stops the spices from sticking to the bottom of the pan and burning. We don't want any nasty burning taste in the soup, or it won't be very pleasant on the palate. I've also added some black pepper. A good pinch of that always adds an extra dimension. I mean, the black pepper is a spice. I'm now adding the hot stock. This is a Callo garlic and herb stock because I didn't have any homemade stock left from my last stock pot, but it's going to be all right there. And I'm going to just top it up with a bit more hot water just to make sure that the vegetables are covered completely. I'm also going to add a bay leaf, and then we're good to go on the pressure cooking. And this will probably be cooking for 5 or 10 minutes at pressure. This soup is now all cooked. It looks lovely and tender. It's cooled slightly, so I'm going to give it a whisk. That's nice and smooth now. I'm going to put that back on the stove top and just reheat, and then it's ready to serve. The seasoning's fine, I've just checked it. This soup is nice and hot now. I'm going to take it off the heat and dish some out. We're really anxious to try this soup. Let's see what it's like. I'll do Dan first. We often like our soup in a cup. That's one. A few little buttered toasted croutons. Probably not terribly healthy, but still. And a few more toasted buttered croutons. I have soup and a too good to go sandwich here. Oh, that's so good. Even though there's carrots and neeps and other goodies in there, those are really flavourful parsnips. And the soup is seasoned really well. The seasoning didn't need adjusting. And was just a slight chilli kick in the background. This soup came out very thick once it was whizzed, and it cooled a little before I reheated it. So I had to thin it with some more stock. But it's, I think, absolutely delicious.
Now I've got this lovely soup, which I'm going to have a taste of.
Is it good, Dan?
It's really nice.
What would you give that for me?
Probably about 9.
Oh, that's quite a good result then.
At least.
There's loads of it.
Nice and parsnippy.
Isn't it? It really is.
Yes, it is.
And it didn't have loads and loads of parsnip in. There was basically 2 smaller parsnip and half a larger parsnip. But it's really tasty, isn't it?
It's gorgeous, yeah.
And I have enough soup containers to fill once it's cooled and put in the freezer for Dan's packed lunches and my lunches on weekdays.
Yeah.
So there we go. This is my beautiful golden vegetable soup. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and share. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye for now.